experience stuff there.
Mm-hmm,
Okay,
yeah.
welcome to the inaugural episode of Two Birds, One Home. I'm here today with the inaugural guest, buddy of mine, Shork. Shork's good to have you here, my man.
Tweet, tweet. I like to be here in the nest. It's cool. There's branches and stuff.
It's good.
It's
It's
nice.
good to have you. It's good to have. I don't know if this episode it should have. I've got some artwork being worked on by a friend of mine, Nevlov, who does like,
Oh,
yeah,
I
you
love
know, okay,
Neva.
Nevlov just does incredible artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Neavlof, I believe. Check them out on social media and stuff. I've got some
Right.
artwork, which is going to be like, I hope this will be ready for the first episode. It's going to be like a pseudo watermark, but because I'll probably be using some sniping stream footage or something, it'll probably be you're going to use it to cover up my face so it looks like it's legit footage. But that's going to be in the corner. But yeah, so I mean, I guess a brief overview of what I'm kind of hoping to achieve with this kind of series. And it's just going to be something, a lot of it's going to be people I've met through the TF2 scene who I believe a lot of them are probably still involved in TF2. So, conversations about TF2 are obviously going to come up, but for me personally, I think one of my goals with this was, regardless of its success or how people receive it, there's a lot of people in the scene who I, air quoting right now, who I know and who are friends, who I realize I don't know a whole lot about. So for me, this is just like kind of a cool way to get to know people a little bit better. And, I figured, a lot of other people might have that same kind of opinion where they have these ideas of these figures in the community and they don't know a ton about them. So I figured this is kind of a cool way to just sit down, chat with them. I've been around for so long that, there's a lot of people who I think would be willing to come on and just kind of chill with me. So that's my selfish reason for doing it. It's just to get to know people, but I think people will enjoy that as well. So, quickly, let's a little bit about yourself, Shork. What do you have for me?
Oh well. Hey. Online name Shock. I'm 20 years old, and I I'm an editor, an animator, and an all-around gamer. I don't know.
All
I
around, I
really
like it.
I really like TF2, and my passion for it is really big. I love doing events as well as charities. I'm a staff at the annual TF Connect charity, and you love that one. So everybody, it's nice. I just
TF
love
Connect is
TF2.
absolutely probably the best. I maybe biased because of my connection with them too, but it feels like the best, most active, professional TF2 community charity out there right now.
Ooh, ooh,
I don't. Well, what's the competition? I mean, it's we've got some
Rapture.
other. There's definitely some other great stuff, but I mean, Toth isn't really doing their stuff anymore. That was
Sure.
obviously the big one in the community. So it's I don't know. I think TF Connect it's the premier. I mean, it's like 2 events a year kind of thing, the summer winter thing, and just the people who are working on it behind the scenes. I mean, there's just so many talented, dedicated people. I'm not sure who competes with it. Plus, their merch is pretty
We
sweet. I got the. I'm not wearing it right now, but I got a couple TF Connect sweaters and stuff. It's pretty great.
we got something big this year. I'm excited. I can't share it publicly, but it's gonna be
Okay. See,
cool.
this is
Um,
that kind of juicy sneak peek stuff we're gonna get on Two Birds One Home. I like it.
yeah. Well, anyways, like everybody, if you don't know about charity, you should check out Blapcher Co as well. They're really fun as well. I was actually sitting yesterday recording a video, and had my good friend Versity on it, and Versity is part of Blapcher Co. And we were just kind of like sitting around, like, oh yeah, you're either a TF connector or a Blapcher Co. Because
Is that how it
those
is?
are like
It's the
the terms.
rival
Yeah.
charities battling.
It's
There's got to be so much overlap between those two charities, though,
yeah,
right? Like, I think it's
like
everybody in Blapshire is in some way involved in TF Connect, and almost vice versa.
yeah, the other way around as well. Like,
Well, and
it's great.
Blapshire's old school, right? Like if I think of Blapshire, I think of like Cerny and like people who
Hmm.
have been
Hmm.
around for a long time. Is
Yeah.
do you know when Blapshire kind of came into his to
Uh,
existence?
yes, I actually remember because back then it was I think it was 2017-ish. And I remember back then I was only 15, which means I still had those being like trying to become a YouTuber and stuff. I just had like boiling jealousy inside me, and that's all I remember. I remember telling my friends, "Ah, guys, we gotta start our own charity." It never went anywhere, and then all of a sudden I'm on TF Connect. And like jealousy is not is a very bad. It's like a toxin you need to get rid of like soon. I remember, oh, the days.
But
But
at 15, you're excused a little bit for like wanting a piece
yeah,
of that, right? Like everybody wants to get in, and they see other people doing it, and they're like, why not me? But
very
it
true.
worked
But
out. It led you in the right way.
yeah, I looked more into it recently, and I've like grown so fond of them. They're all great. I'm friends with like most of them, and they're just awesome people. And then I like this is a funny story, right? So this year I'm gonna be going to my first ever actual LAN event kind of thing. Uh,
Nice.
and it's gonna be I-69. Haha, nice. I know. But basically it's this yearly one, and this kind of a there's kind of a tradition where at I-60 whatever there's a little corner of TF2 people meeting up, and I was watching through like some vlogs recently, and I actually figured out that that's where Blapcherco got together.
Oh.
Like because in all the vlogs there's like cute videos of them all hanging around together and being like, oh, I love you guys as family. And then I realized, and I was like sitting there with the whiteboard and like putting all the dots together, and I was like, wait a minute, but all these guys, they're the Blackstreet Crow guys.
So you're like that
It all
Charlie
makes
Day
sense
meme
now.
where you've got all the like all the
Yeah.
threads coming together, except you're piecing together where Blaster Co. it was invented.
Yes. It,
So
it makes it all makes sense now. I'm like thinking they came up with it after that, after they started connecting like that. But I'm so excited because I'm going this year, and I'm going with all of them.
that's
And
amazing. Well, so
you know,
I'll come back to the I series lands because like the I series lands are. I mean, as
I
someone who's been in the TF2 scene for almost 13 years now, I've always been. I mean, the I series TF2 lands from a competitive perspective have been just an absolute staple of the TF2 community. And if you're not
I
familiar
agree.
with them, I don't know exactly what the first one. It was probably in the 40s or something. I don't know exactly what the numerical increments have been for the I series, but I mean, TF2's competitive history, EU versus NA. You've got the Banny teams, the like the mix up against like some of the greatest TF2 competitive players in history from NA and EU facing off in these I series lands. People like content creators like Tag and stuff like that. He played for Banny's teams back in the day. Greats like Cadus and all these Captain, all these amazing players. And really, the I series is the only time we ever got to see an offline event where TF2 NAEU got to go head to head, and it was beautiful. And it obviously, I think it used to be a bigger deal a little bit. TF2 had its kind of competitive heyday. It was never like, I'm sure it never took as much of the center stage as like CS:GO or whatever else is going there. But I feel like it's probably dropped off a little in its grandeur at the I series events. But I mean, I series and TF2, just for anyone in the community, you look them up if you haven't seen them, but they hold a special place in a lot of people's hearts, either for the competitive or, like you said, just like it's a time where people come across, especially great for Europe, where people can kind of travel and meet each other. I would love to go to one day. I've only ever been to one LAN in my entire life, and it was T-LAN, which was a LAN held here in Toronto. And it was amazing. Like, I didn't know anybody there when I went there. Like, I literally I played a little comp, but none of the comp people I played with were going to this thing. So I kind of just got into like a forum and we kind of just arranged some teams. But like I played everyone will know Habib, like the Sixes demo, who's probably the best demo of all time. A lot of people say that now. He was there. Like I got to play against him a little bit before he was maybe as known as he is now, but like that was awesome for me. And man, LANs are just, you're going to have such a good time. Like LANs are so fun. And like, you don't have to be playing, obviously. I played in that LAN as a competitive player, which was amazing, but like just being there was such a cool experience. And even cooler that you're going to meet people already. Like that's such a comfortable experience.
Okay, do you want some juicy intel?
Let's
Only
hear
for
it.
the
Yes.
Jaybird
Please,
nest? All
please.
right. So behind the scenes, and this is just, I'm not gonna announce this publicly anyway yet, but I'm organizing a TF2 creator arm wrestle tournament.
Oh my goodness.
And like it's mostly gonna be for the jokes and for bonding experiences, but like
Well,
I don't know, I was,
someone's showing up extra ripped, and they're gonna take it way too seriously, though.
yeah,
Someone's gonna walk away with like a legit win, and someone else is gonna walk away with like a dislocated elbow. But it'll be amazing.
the roster list is already like me, Chlormew, RSTV, Solarlight, Spiky Mikey, Peter Scraps, and like way more people, right?
This sounds juicy.
And
I cannot wait for this.
yeah, Spiky Mikey sadly does lift.
Yeah, Spiky's
And
kind of big, and even yourself.
Spiky does
I mean, I've seen
Yeah.
some shots. You're in pretty good shape as well. So
Yeah, I'm in good shape, but I don't know if I don't lift, so I'm kind of scared of Spiky Mikey.
he's tall too. He's like
He is
6'2",
6'5",
6'5".
I
Man.
think.
So okay,
Yeah.
off topic. So like, I feel like the TF2 community has a lot of really tall people. So
Yeah.
for anyone who doesn't know, this is Jaybird talking. If you're familiar with the streams and stuff, my height is well known by people who come to my streams. I'm 5'5", almost 5'6". I'm a short man. I'm looking at Shork's Discord image right now, and it's Germa, and the Germa Jaybird comparisons are very valid. I'm a small man.
You guys are not small. You're just compact.
Compact,
right?
that's fair. I'm a compact individual. But I feel like whenever I talk to somebody in the TF2 community and like height comes up, they're like 6 foot plus, like just behemoths. What is going on? What is in the TF2 water?
All right, so I'm 6 foot, right? And
You're 6 foot too. What the hell? Come on, man.
I was just feeling kind of like okay, I'm a bit tall, but then I started talking to some other people, and then it was like Spiky Mikey's like 6'4", so is Buttery Scotsman, and
Buttery's a big
like
man.
multiple people I know, they're just super tall, and it's like, oh, all right, I guess I'm not that tall either way. Whatever.
You're 6 foot. You're just don't you give me you're not that tall. That's bullshit.
No,
you're plenty tall, sir.
I'm happy with it. I'm grateful.
And you're 20, so well, you're probably not growing height wise, but you can definitely fill out. I mean, I'm again, for people who don't know, I don't know how many people who watch my YouTube videos know as much about me as people in like my streams, but I'm 30 years old. I'm done. I am the only bigger I'm getting is I'm only going to get fatter. That's my inevitability at this point. I don't grow up, and I'm not going to get much more toned. I've accepted my physicality at this point. I'm only going to get fatter. So my physical peak is well behind me. But you can grow into yourself. You can win that arm wrestling competition. I'll be honest.
I'm gonna just for you.
That's
And
okay.
also, my secret plan is that the arm wrestling is not gonna be the only thing. The secret plan is that after the arm wrestling, I'm gonna like lure them off and like turn it all into like a kind of like a field trip, and then we go mini golfing and stuff.
Ooh, nice. I like it. Okay. That sounds. I mean, mini golfing is like one of those great equalizer sports where it's like you don't need to know anything about golf. You don't need to be in any kind of physical condition. Anybody can be good or terrible at mini golfing, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah, it definitely is. But
I feel like that might be Chloe Mew's chance for redemption because, as from what I've heard, I've never seen her, but I've heard she's maybe a little small. Maybe arm wrestling will be a little tough for her, but maybe not. Maybe she'll come and she'll just dominate.
She's 5'1".
Okay, so quite petite.
But funny enough, which nobody ever thought, and he just told me, Solar Light is like very close to that as well.
Nice. Okay, so listen, I was gonna say while we were talking about all the tall people, us short folks need to develop some kind of small person coalition, like a support group amongst ourselves. Because when the TF2 uprising happens and all the tall people band together, we need to know that we got each other's backs.
No, literally all the short people I know are just gods at TF2 and like everything else.
That's true.
It's
Yeah.
like,
So maybe it's like a compensation thing. You know, we weren't as good at sports something in real life, so we just became god gamers because we're all so tiny. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm scared of short people. No,
you should be.
like
You should
that.
be scared of short people. We're coming.
I should be watching out, but I'm so excited to see all of them. I think seeing them in real life will really like broaden the horizon or whatever towards my view on life, because it's just so. Because I'm from Denmark, right? So I'm very isolated from everything, gaming, like the pop culture I like. And going there will be awesome. I got to see.
Quickly, where is I-69 this year, or where is it always held?
England, Birmingham.
Okay, gotcha. And so wait, what about Denmark? Kind of separates itself from that culture? Is it just it's not kind of?
There's nobody who plays TF2 here or anything like that.
Okay. So just just small enough and just not enough people really in the scene.
Yep. Yeah, and then the people I do find that do play TF2 in Denmark, they just weird me out sometimes when I end up talking to them. Like,
that's totally fine. You don't have to. It's important to find out that just because you share like one common interest of like technically TF2 does not mean you're going to align with someone. And like
it's very true.
I think people like, especially younger people, and you're 20 now, so you figure that out. But like, I think people who are like 12, 13, 14, they'll like get into a gaming scene and they'll meet some people and they're like, oh, we both play the same game, and they'll get into a voice chat and they'll get to know each other. And while that can be awesome, it's definitely, I would never dissuade people from like getting to know new people. Never be afraid to be like, just because we play the same game, I have learned some things about you. I don't think we need to be friends anymore. Don't be
Yeah,
afraid to do that.
exactly.
Like we got to learn when to cut ties because it's. I think that's when you end up getting like these. You'll maybe not develop bad habits, but you'll take on these
Hmm.
personality traits to kind of blend in with these people a little bit to keep
Yeah.
those friend groups close. And you shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to be yourself around those people, and there will always
I
be more people to meet.
Yeah, I just made a video literally about this. It's like you have to be yourself. You don't have to be who the people around you want you to be, even though you think that's who you want to be. Like you really need to think for yourself and think deep down. And then like recently, when I get to meet, yeah, he's my best friend now, Bebe.
Yeah, I saw
He's
your
on
recent video
TF2.
for anyone who doesn't
Yeah,
know. Go check out Shork's videos, but he did make a recent video about meeting two friends in real life and how that
so
changed his perspective.
I got I got to meet Bebe and hang out with him, and it was just like, what? Life can be this cool. Like just doing anything was just so much fun. It's just like, yeah, like just be with the people you want to be with, and don't force yourself to do anything just because you feel lonely.
Yeah.
Um,
And you
just
know what?
like, yeah,
In a weird way, I think this, like a new generation of kids, are kind of figuring that out, kind of not backwards, but in a reverse order of, I guess, when I grew up. Because when I grew up, the internet was, listen, I'm not that old. The internet was technically a thing. But I grew up with stuff like RuneScape and like it was MSN Messenger and like MySpace. So like you weren't meeting a bunch of new people. You were kind of just interacting with a lot of the people you knew and you'd add them and you'd talk after school. But for me, it was growing up, meeting friends, stuff like that when you're younger. Maybe some of them work, maybe some of them don't. And as time goes on, people get pushed out of your life, they come into it, stuff like that. But you do learn, through people's actions, stuff like that, the people you want to have around you. And I was lucky to have a really good group of friends that I took all the way through high school, university, and I still know them now. But I think this generation, you almost end up with this a little bit of a backwards revelation where it's a lot of these people are meeting a lot of their first close friends through video games, and it creates this weird dynamic where it's I think sometimes you don't learn as much about people online because they can be very closed about what they want you to know. They can kind of create this image of themselves where it's
they're
that
usually
sounds
who they want to
good.
be.
So it's tough. It takes a lot longer to kind of find out the people who you're really compatible with. And I think it's just some people, it's just a change of times. It's how things are going to be now. But for me, it's weird to see because by the time I got into gaming, I kind of had my close friends. And they're actually, the way I got into TF2 was one of my close friends was like, try this game out. And like, we all literally bought the physical orange box that had Portal in it. That's so like, I had a physical DVD copy of TF2 that I
Oh my
installed
god, do you
into
still
my.
have it?
I do still have it, 100%.
Woo.
So that's how I got into
Amazing.
TF2. All these people, and no joke, Jaybird was my first alias. That's not true. My first alias was, I don't know who will know this, but the movie Saving Private Ryan, there's like a sniper in it, and he's like the cool sniper guy. Whatever
Yeah.
that guy's name was, that was my first TF2 alias. Classic, classic teenager cringe alias, but it
Okay.
was what it
Okay.
was.
I have a cringier story. One of my first aliases was, right. So I was playing TF2 and I was like kind of starting to get a few kills here and there, and I was like, how do I make myself intimidating? How do I make myself really cool? Like people are gonna be like, oh,
Oh
that
boy.
guy, I don't want to mess with him. So I changed my name to Wanted $100, and then it was just like,
What? Out of
yeah.
what? Okay. Is your profile picture like a weird Photoshop wanted poster or something?
Yeah, yeah. I think I just googled it, and I think I somehow ended up with like one with like a, I don't know, like a My Little Pony on it. I don't
Oh
remember,
my
but
goodness.
I,
Shork, Shork,
I,
Shork, Shork.
I just remember I changed my name to Wanted $100
You
because
know
I felt
what?
like it would intimidate people.
We all have, I mean, everyone has that character arc. It is a rite of passage to have a somewhat cringy I actually think that people now these days are like the kids are so they dominate what's cool and not cool online and stuff like that.
Mm,
So like they know kids are so much more aware of like again, I hate using the word cringe over and over again because I honestly don't even know what it means anymore. I don't know if it's cringe to say cringe, but like they dominate ironic humor so heavily now that I don't think they have that bad username anymore because their first
yeah.
username is probably something that's already like meta humor that like I wouldn't even understand.
I've learned this one saying. because I've just gotten past the point where it's like whether I think things are cringe or not. It's just this is a very good quote to go by. It's don't kill the part of yourself that's cringe. Kill the part of yourself that cringes.
Oh, okay. Okay. I
Very
like that. I like
inspiring.
that. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
And it's true though,
There's
because it's like, I mean, as soon as you let, and like, I'm gonna say a whole bunch of things, and I'm gonna say, I'm not even gonna say the word cringe once, but you're going to
you just said it.
understand that it's there. But it's as soon as you understand that people projecting their own subjective beliefs onto your hobbies and passions
Yep.
doesn't matter anymore, life becomes so much more
So much
fun.
easier.
Like
It's
it's
great.
unbelievable the freedom you have of mind, and you'll never. I don't think anyone fully disconnects from that, that outside pressure, either from their friends or random people. Like if I say something on Twitter and some moron comes back with some stupid comment, I'm an adult, I'm not actually going to get upset, but like a part of me is like, what is wrong with, like, why'd you, but like, as soon as you can put that at least in the back of your mind and not worry too much about it, it is just such a freeing, you just have so much more room to grow and just find things that you actually enjoy, and you don't care at all why you
Yeah.
enjoy them or if anyone else enjoys it. And I promise you other people do enjoy it as well. You can find those people
Mhm.
no matter what it is.
I
It's just a better way to live.
Yeah, I think it was like in 2017 or something. I started realizing um that I should just be me. Like I shouldn't try to be cool on YouTube and stuff. So I would literally just like turn up the spectre and I would like start all my videos and stuff with this. Of course, it was a bit sarcastic, but it was still like whatever. I'm just gonna throw myself out there. So I would start a video like, "Hey gamers, what's going on? It's me." Blah, blah, blah. And it was just like I just went max out because if you're doing max, nobody can diss you for the
It's
kind of weird things you're doing. And if they do, I've learned over the years that hate can honestly, it can both take you down, but it can also send you further. Like I think probably negative comments have gotten me to kind of just be better at what I do. Like just get better at editing, like learning from it, etc. Like I think um last few like 2 weeks ago when I did like a big stream thing with the voice actors from TF2.
Yeah, for anyone
And
who hasn't seen that, by the way, go check out Shork's videos where he has, essentially the comics literally being voiced by the actual
yes,
voice actors,
and
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 he's
I
got
have
videos recapping that, and it's amazing.
And I have a funny story behind that I'm gonna tell now. So after that stream happened, I was like, I was going through like Discord because everybody was talking about it. It was really cool, and people were saying, "Oh, you're doing such a great job." And then I remember some people, like a long time ago, invited me and were like, "Hey, do you want to be in our small TF2 YouTuber Discord server?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." But I won't be that active and stuff.
I feel
And
like I
somebody
may
was
have been in this exact channel at some point.
maybe, yeah,
And
but and
probably,
then
yeah.
somebody was talking to me, and I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then I looked at the chat, like, a bit higher up, and then I saw some YouTuber guy, um, talking about like, "Oh, Shark did a terrible job with that interview. Like, it was so bad. He didn't even blah blah. He didn't do that. Didn't do that. Blah blah blah. Didn't blah. It just sucked. I could have done a better job, right?" Like, I didn't know this person, so initially it was just kind of like, "Haha, okay, that's kind of ego." And kind of mean. But it got me really down because this was a thing where like I got home from vacation and then I was like notified that if I wanted to do this, and I was like, okay. And then I worked for like a week on stream design and again got the stream ready like the day before or on the day actually. And then I did it and I was just so happy that it worked. And then it made me really sad, but instead of like keeping being sad about it, I was just like, okay, it might not have gone perfectly, but this guy, that's over the line. And then it just kind of propelled me towards like, I'll show this guy because he was talking about like how now my channel is gonna die because that was the last interesting thing I could ever
Yeah,
do, blah blah
definitely,
blah,
right?
etc. And then I was like, all right, you know what, whatever. Like he said like there's no way I could do anything other. Then I just went, okay, I'm gonna edit some really good comic dubs from this, and I'm gonna see where that takes me. And I spent like a whole day where that was just fueling me, because I was like, no, I'm not. I gotta prove myself, etc. And then I uploaded it, and it got 500,000 views, and I was like, oh,
That's
yay.
you love to see it, and you're right. Like, and not everyone. You don't need to take every negative comment and use it as like this chip on your shoulder to feel. Of course, like that would be exhausting. That would eventually drain you and like probably send you probably burning you out. But I think it's important, especially if you make content that is, doesn't have to be crazy widely viewed. Like I know some of you've blown up recently in the best possible way because you work hard in your videos. The content is top notch, and it's the TF2 scene needs someone like you who it just adds so much levity and so much. It's just such a fun environment when your videos are out there. I really like them, and it's no everyone can understand that TF2's not in the best place gameplay right now from a gameplay perspective, but doesn't mean that content can't thrive. What I was going to say is an important thing when dealing with negative comments when you're reaching so many people is being able to take overtly negative, unnecessary comments and just being able to parse through it and see if there's anything that you can use in there. And if you can't, that's when you say, well, okay, let that weirdo go be them. But if there's, it's understanding that not every angry internet commenter is completely wrong about everything. There might be a shred of something you can be like, well, as much as they said a bunch of terrible things, maybe there's something in there I can work on. And that's the stuff that used to fuel you, not so much maybe just the pure anger. It is like you said, it's, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to say, maybe there's a part of me that almost agrees with one or two of those comments. I'm just going to do a better job. And then, joke's on them.
I mean, I agreed a little bit inside, but only on the part where my microphone, because OBS reset my microphone settings, so I was way lower than them in like half of the stream, and I didn't realize because I was streaming, and of course I was super stressed out because I was sitting with the voice actors.
That's a lot of pressure. And hey, listen, if anyone's going to be loud, I would prefer the voice actors to be louder than the person hosting them. So that's not too big a deal.
I was like, that's totally fine, whatever, like whatever. And then I was sitting there, I was streaming it from my PC to like Robin's channel and stuff. I had connection to everybody's channel, even Critcast channel. So it was like this pressure. So of course I couldn't check. I just got into it and did it. And I think it went okay well. And then another thing they like complain about, and you can't complain about this. You can't be like, why were they so like slow at getting things up and working when they were reading comics? It's like, dude, they're actors, but they're not experts in technology. Like you should know that. So and be patient and wait.
The funny thing about complaints like that too is that like that person, maybe they actually do have some, like maybe they would have done personally in that moment at that one thing a little bit of a better job, but to look at a whole project like that, and if you're truly trying to be a constructive criticism type of person or anything like that, you have to look at it as, what are these people's strengths? How well do they do at the things that they shouldn't be good at, like maybe getting those things up in time? They're voice actors. Their strength is being there and being able to voice these characters, not in being able to parse all of the crazy technical things going on behind the scenes. That's the stuff you just got to have some patience for. Like if you don't, you're being unreasonable.
Yes, but also nobody actually like asked me at all how much how much time I had to set it up, how much I had talked to the voice actors beforehand, because little do they know that I was only placed on a call with the voice actors 10 minutes before we went live, and those 10 minutes were spent on me at the same time as trying to like tell them what was going to happen, because we did have a guy like who was emailing them what was going to happen, but they didn't read the whole email, which was I had 10 minutes to explain that we were going to do comics later.
Oh my god.
And then they didn't know how the links worked. They needed to learn how to open that up. So like I kind of want to give myself a pat on the back that we even ended up doing it, because I feel like it could have ended up like being a stressful situation where it'd be too complicated, because they all needed to open tabs, and like Dennis Bateman, I love him so much, but he didn't really know how to open like a second tab and stuff. And
oh no, like, the dreaded second tab. Oh god.
And yeah, it was just, but there were amazing people, and I think I liked it. I think it went well, and but yeah, and
the overwhelming response from that entire thing, everything came from, was amazing. I personally, when I heard it was happening, I immediately bought the sniper and GLaDOS image, because I didn't know before that the voice actors who voice the sniper and both the announcer and GLaDOS are married in real life. So I'm like, oh my god, that is like, I didn't know, and I'm like, that is the most perfect piece of art. So I bought that. I'm like, I cannot wait to have that, and I cannot wait till it gets here.
Actually, one of my best friends from online, who I haven't met yet, so we really want to meet. She's so nice. She made like most of the new portraits for the signings, and it
Yeah, they
was
all look
amazing.
so good. Oh my god, they're all
And
fantastic.
like, yeah, shout out to Gwen. She doesn't have like an ad.
Okay, that's fine.
So, but she's awesome. And then it's just like, wow, like I like the event, and I think like because I'm trying to if like if you know me, you know that I'm basically the definition of variety content. It's like because I do streaming, I do well, I now I've hosted stuff, I do charity, um, I do editing, animating, and the gameplay commentary sometimes, right? So it's like I'm trying to improve on every part of that, and I feel like my hosting skills can be better, of course, because the mic thing and all that. But I think that the thing I did after that hate comment was that I took my good side and added it to the situation, which means I took my editing skills and I made those comic dubs, and that brought a lot more attention onto the actual thing. Like like did you know that unexpectedly it wasn't like what I wanted to happen, but because I put that on Twitter and it got such a huge response, Robin Atkin Downs is now doing more comic dubs.
I did see that because he was like he was. It seemed like he was kind of blown away by how much
He
people loved
was.
it, and he's like,
It
"Oh
got
my
like
god,
45,000 likes,
yeah,
and
people want
he's
to see more of this. Hell yeah, I'm
yeah.
down to do more."
And we were talking a bit together as well, and I might be helping him out on some parts, and I'll probably be doing some comic dub edits either way because he would probably also like me to do that. But it's gonna be so awesome, and
Yeah.
I really love that.
Well,
Like
and I
TF2 is such a big part of my life now.
yeah, well, and like I can't stress enough how much like how much TF2 needs someone like you, something like these voice actors doing this thing. It is such a I said it before and I'll say it again. It's just so refreshing. It's such a palate cleanser because again, like we all know, TF2 is not in its best state right now. It's not getting updated. There's the bots, blah
Yep.
blah blah. I'm not even gonna touch on that because everyone knows. Everyone knows what's going on. But it is nice to get those reminders that TF2 is still this beautiful community behind it where it's I'm sure all the toxicity in the community comes up all the time, but it's truly, as someone who's been in this community for 13 years, it is, every gaming community, internet community, real life community will have vocal minorities of people who, will shed a bad light on things. TF2 community is fantastic, and it has so many amazing things like these comic dubs, these voice actors, charity
Like,
events, even
yeah, one
gameplay. With the bots and everything, there is still so much that can come from TF2 gameplay. And it's stuff like this is just a beautiful way of highlighting it. It's just fun to see, and it's it just makes people smile.
I think my eyes really widened for the TF2 community when I organized Team Fabulous 2 Reanimated, and I was like, holy shit, we have something amazing here. Nobody's just doing it right. Nobody's doing it the right way. Nobody's appealing to everybody and getting everybody on board. It's just always like that vocal minority that's going to be seen no matter what. Nobody's going to be highlighting the big things, and it sucks because like when I was going through that, like doing that whole event, oh my god, I was so happy. I was like talking to people all the time, and I was realizing how many people love TF2. Like even those who aren't like regular TF2 players still consider themselves like part of the community, and
Well,
it's
Team
just so
Fabulous, the original. I mean, that's embedded in meme culture at this. Like that is
it
pop
is.
video game culture lore history at this point. So like,
Mhm.
yeah, you can see TF2's reach is crazy, and I do think it's one of those rare franchises where you're totally right. If you play video games, I like you in some weird way, you have a connection to TF2. I don't care if it's through some weird engineer long neck meme you've shared, not knowing what that class is. Maybe it's from a competitive stance. Maybe you went to play Overwatch and you're tied to that class based kind of scenario. I don't care how. You are probably in some way connected to TF2, and it's
Yeah.
just always kind of in the background, but it still has so much potential in it to be brought to the foreground and to kind of share a lot of amazing things.
Did
Personally, as a
you?
content creator, I mean, my content's always been pretty stable in what it is. I make sniper gameplay or whatever gameplay, but especially when it comes to streaming, I play TF2 as like a community event because I know people still enjoy watching it, or background noise, something like that. But it's really just to talk to awesome people, and I think that's where TF2 really shines.
Did you know that Team Fabulous 2 is actually in a Guinness World Record book?
Really? For what?
Yeah. For being one of the like most popular video game videos ever.
That's crazy. Is this the OG one, like the first
Yeah,
one?
the OG. The second one was I okay, right. I kind of wanted to do the event and then just leave it behind because it was memorial and I didn't want anything to be like milked or juiced out of it.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm still gonna be using the channels and Twitter page for like charity. So I'm gonna be like announcing TF Connect on the YouTube channel and Twitter every year, because people would really like that as well. The response I got, but I really wanted it to just be a thing we did and show that we really honor him and not keep on doing and keeping it alive because it's for clout or whatever. Because I've seen people do that and I just find it disgusting. So I kind of left it behind, and I think whenever I get like somebody who claims to quote unquote know me, like 80% of people don't know I was involved with Team Fabulous 2 Reanimated at all.
I don't think
Which,
I knew that. If I'm being totally honest, I don't think I knew that because I mean
wait, wait, so you didn't know I did like it was my project?
I don't. I mean, maybe in the back of my head, like it's possible when it first came out, maybe I did hear it from you or something like that, but it didn't. I don't think it's ever really stuck in my head that that was your
That's
project.
That's exactly like that's the thing I wanted to do because it's like yes, because I wanted it to be a project where I've seen so many times in the past. It's like the guy who runs it just sticks themselves on front of it, and then it gets known as their thing.
So this is
But
good. This is what you want. You
yes,
wanted to
this is
kind of
what I
be
want.
okay. Good. Well, I
I'm
feel
happy
better
about
for
it.
not knowing that. Then so that's good.
Like I'm so happy. And that's why I'm very proud of what went down now because it was also presented as this like bigger thing than just
Well,
content creators trying to make
how many
content.
people worked on that reanimated?
About 200, I think.
Wow, that is
Not just
crazy.
animators though, because we had
Of
people
course, yeah.
promo and editors and stuff. And another thing I ended up doing, which was also just to get the spotlight off me, was that even though I was basically the only one who edited anything in it, because I edited everything together, I think my friend Laurentio added like one effect to a shot, and it ended up not being used.
Did
I
you give
still
him
put
like
like
post credits?
yeah,
Yep.
I still put them in as editors.
Executive editing producer.
It was
One
like I put
unused
in
clip.
yeah, I put in 3 instead of 2, and
Well,
then
that,
it was like but it was like I also felt bad because my name is also first in the credits because I animated the first shot because I needed to make something to announce the project. Um,
well,
but it was
I
like
can honestly say, and I think everyone can say who's either seen that project or knows about it, blah 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 blah, that you should have no shame in being able to take responsibility for that project. But I also will say that it is very noble of you and very mature of you to kind of not want to be the face of that and let it kind of stand as its own kind
yeah,
of
I think it
memorial
just
to
should.
the original project.
It just should. And now I want to use the like account as an anonymous source for charity.
That's
So I'm
amazing.
gonna be like
That's I think that's a perfect remembrance for the the general project, and just kind of that's a great way to kind of keep it alive. But also, again, yeah, of course, you're not pushing anything in particular. You're just trying to promote great causes, which is TF2 throughout its history and all its issues. One of its greatest strengths has been rallying people together for causes. So whether that's Tip of the Hat, so as long as it went, TF Connect, Blapshire, any of these amazing charity projects, anything that could get people together under a good cause, TF2 has been fantastic at doing that. And it's just something that I will forever be proud to be a part of, not just those events, but just the community as a whole in, how well they do come together. So many different people with probably so many different opinions on the game and life, stuff like that. When they see something like that come together, TF2 fans do an amazing job at banding together and putting aside whatever difference they might have to, just support something. And
yeah,
I think that's the side of TF2 I will always think of when I think of the game. So
yeah.
it may be different for some people, but for me, that community charity aspect, I think of charity. I think of good people who want to do good things when I think of TF2.
We ended up raising like almost $25,000, which is just and I was just so happy, and I'm just glad about every aspect of it because it turned out positive, as well. It was like this. There was like some drama before it because I remember literally I remember this one night I was just sitting and working on it because that was what I was doing for like the time. I remember like basically it was like an interrogation, right? I was dragged into like a freaking voice chat by
Oh
like this
God.
famous animator. Um, and then he would start like talking. They would like, and there was like three of their friends in there, right, and one of me, and they would start talking to me, and they were like, they were like, "You stole the idea," and I was like, "What?" Because apparently they, and this was probably wasn't even like public or anything. Apparently they had talked in the past about reanimating Team Fabulous 2, um, in in 3D, and then they were like, "You stole the idea,"
Yes, you
and
stole
then
that idea they privately
yeah,
talked about and told no one else about. Of course, damn it, Shork, you've struck again.
and then you freaking you did it in 2D just in spite of Gmod animated, and I was like, no, I didn't. I did it in 2D because Kitty freaking loved 2D animation, and we wanted to honor that. And we do have some 3D parts, but only a few because all TF2 like projects are mainly 3D, and this time, you know, we wanted to also give the 2D people a chance, and even some 3D people are just doing 2D here. It's like, and then like they were just interrogating me and like going at it and like, blah, 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 and I was just like, and then I think it took like, I don't know, 15 minutes to convince them like, oh, I wasn't like, I'm not evil. Please.
15 minutes. I'm not evil, I swear to God.
I was just sitting there like complying with everything they said and like being one thing that was good that was lit out of that was because I was basically just told by people to upload it on my own channel, and I was like, it was always in my head like, should I do that or should I make a new thing for them, right? But of course they went, of course they were like thinking, oh, you're gonna upload it on your channel, you're gonna monetize for blah blah, and then I was like, yeah, actually, you're right. Like, I wasn't gonna monetize it or anything, right? But you're right. I should make a new account. And then I made a new account. Um, and I don't. I remember like the main guy didn't stop being hostile at all, and I think he just ignored it, and stuff. And I think he hates me, but I don't know why.
It happens. You're just gonna run into those kinds of encounters when you
Yeah,
do stuff like this.
but like that's an interaction I'm happy to have had. Yes, I was placed in front of that like lamp in the room, and they turn it on. They're like, "Speak up."
Good cop,
But
bad cop.
like, you know, having that channel for it was just such amazing because, you know, the further I get into it, the more I realize that it's not at all my project. It's the community's project, and that's what it should be, and that's what that channel should be, and that's what the channel should represent. And I'm just glad, you know, how it turned out.
Well, I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I mean, everyone involved, I mean, like you said, like you've done a great job at not making yourself the face of it. I mean, again, I didn't know you were involved, so you did a great job there. But I mean, it's just like that was such a nice thing again for the community to come together and just again, anytime you can create that kind of environment in TF2 these days is just fantastic. So I mean, that's a lot of awesome stuff about content stuff like this. I mean, how about like just quickly like some stuff about your real life. So you say you live in Denmark. You're 20.
Yeah, I live in Denmark. I recently moved out to
That's right. You got your own place recently, right?
yeah, to a really nice place. It's like beach, and then there's another nature thing. I don't know what it's called in English, but I like. It's like I'm freaking listing my dating profile. My my name is Eric. I moved out and I live alone. I like long walks. I like long walks on the beach. I love the
You
nature.
have a pet turtle, I believe.
I do have a pet tortoise. Yeah, he's napping right now. And recently,
Nice.
I finally got his heating lamp up,
Ooh.
and it's a goddamn charger from him. I remember I turned it on, and he just was like, "Oh my god, yes!" So he went to like his rocks I have, and he just like flattened out on the ground, and I was like lying there and like
So
chilling for like 4 hours, and then afterwards he just started running around like it freaking charged him up, and it was like scary because turtles are not supposed to be that fast.
you've created some kind of like incredibly speedy turtle monster with that heating lamp.
Yeah.
Why a
But
turtle? I'm curious. I don't know anyone with a turtle. What made you get a turtle?
I like reptiles. They're cool. And I had a turtle when I was younger, and I got a turtle again. And yeah,
That makes
but I
sense to
do
me.
also love dogs and cats. I do have a dog named T-Rex, and he's the
T
cutest dog
Rex.
in existence.
That's what kind of dog?
Um, well, you're gonna hate it when I say it, but he's a Chihuahua.
There's nothing wrong.
But
Listen, until you've had like anyone can make fun of small breed or something like that, or blah blah blah, or Chihuahua or something like that. But like your dog is your dog. Like
No,
it's
no, no,
still
no.
your
It's like
best bud.
people don't realize my Chihuahua was not just not like one of those Chihuahuas that get like. Chihuahua was raised by a Labradoodle,
Oh,
um, and she taught him how to be like a good dog. So he basically doesn't bark. He's just super nice, and
he's just a little dog. That's all. Yeah,
he's
it's
like a normal dog, but he's super compact, and that's why I love it.
that's
He's
well.
nice.
I have my dog Chad. I have, and he is. We
Right,
got
okay.
him about a year and a half ago now. We got him when he was one. We rescued him. And he came up
Oh,
from Texas in the States. I live in Canada.
yeah.
And he's 2.5 now, and he's like we did a DNA test on him because we were so curious. He's a rescue. He's
He was
adorable.
actually a human.
Yeah, well, that's not quite that. Not quite. Well, we don't know. We don't know what he did on the streets when he for the year we didn't have him. But he turns out he's like
Uh,
50% boxer, and then he's got like
ooh,
some Staffordshire in him, some like a little bit of pit bull. He's got some like cattle dog in him. He's got like a million different things. But
that's
he's.
cool.
I grew up with a lab, and like man, dogs are the best. Pets are the best. They like
Yeah, I agree.
I think they just do such a good job, especially if you grow up with one, of just like, I don't know. I think people who grew up with pets are just better people. Maybe I'm sorry to anyone who didn't, but I'm not saying you're a better person. I'm just saying it does give you this, it makes you care for something
Yeah,
that needs
true.
your care. Like and all it wants to do is love you, and all you have to do is love it and protect it. And that's something where until you do it, I don't know that you really get it. And it creates this nice bit of, I think it builds empathy in people, and it kind of, it just gives a better little bit of outlook on life when you've got a pet. So I'm not saying you're a bad person if you didn't grow up with a pet. I'm just saying if you had the chance to, you know what I'm talking about, how it just like, it's
Yeah.
hard to explain. Like if I told someone that I would die for my dog, they'd be like, it's a dog. But I'm like, no, you don't get it.
Yeah,
I
you
would
don't get it,
die
right?
for my dog. Like
If anything happened to little T-Rex, I'm coming after you.
100%, like Taken style, I will find you. And that's
John
just,
Wick. John
yeah.
Wick in real
But
life.
that's
Let's
just,
go.
I mean, I think almost 100% of pet owners would kind of agree. Maybe not that extreme, but like it just becomes a part of your family. And I think it's, and if you can, not everyone can get a pet. Like I get it. It's not that easy. Life circumstances. Some people, it's sometimes hard enough just to take care of yourself. But if you can get a pet, man, get a pet.
Mhm.
It's a turtle
I
or a
agree.
dog or a lizard, whatever. Pets are great.
Is this like a pet sponsorship? Let's
No, it's
go.
not, but it could be. Can we get two birds, one home pet sponsorship, like PetSmart
Oh
or
my god.
something?
Yes. I'd love a pet sponsorship as
Yeah.
well.
So I had one last question, like doesn't have to be last, but like one thing I did want to ask, and this was kind of
Mhm.
about content. Was I'm curious. You're young. You said you're 20, right?
Yeah.
So you're a young guy.
Um,
Are you in school right now? Are you in university?
no.
Okay,
What?
so you're not.
Okay. All right. Basically, let me run it down.
Okay, okay.
So last summer, like a year from now, I graduated from I don't even know what it's called, but I got my little hat.
I
So
guess
if you're Danish,
high school would be what we'd call it here. Secondary
kind
school, I
kind of
guess.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, but if you're Danish, I got the and you know what I'm talking about. I had I actually had a kitty quote on the hat. Do what you love, which is just it means so much to me. But yeah, I graduated and I was like, yeah, shit. Well, what do I do now? Because I needed to find a job, etc. and stuff. And I was just kind of messing around with TF2 in my free time, and that was all I was doing. Um, and then I just kind of I was like, shit. And then all of a sudden, I ended up with a job. Actually, I got a job at Faceit.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know,
Um,
Face It. Yeah, I mean they are a gaming organization, and they, how long ago would you say that they kind of had their first step into their more recent first step into TF2? Was it like
yeah,
maybe like
yeah.
was it like a year ago? I guess when they
It was a bit more actually. I
was
think
okay.
it was at the end of February-ish that they started inviting all of us to like kind of be part of it, and all that. And it was like launched to massive success that very, very quickly and gradually turned into a failure.
Yeah, I mean that
Um,
whole thing, and like I will forever defend that first project that came out because I really think it was unfortunately a little doomed. It was a little doomed to fail from the beginning, just from I think outside perspective. And I'm not going to say it was perfect because I don't think it had in the
no, no,
state
of
that
course.
with the Face It matchmaking that came out. As fun as it was not built to last. It didn't have enough to satisfy the community what they wanted. But I do also think so many people weirdly went into it with this desire for it to fail, and I never understand. That
Yeah.
drove me crazy because it's like,
Yeah, that's just I don't think people realize, like, even though it worked for them, right? Like, okay, guys, look at TF2. Look at your favorite game where it's being freaking like, attacked by bots, etc. And then now there's this big company that makes stuff with CS:GO, etc. And they want to invest in TF2, and all you have to do is stand by and
yeah,
look at
all you
it.
got to do is try it and give
And yeah, like
constructive
give
criticism, or don't say
give
anything,
feedback.
or don't try
Yeah,
it. But like, you don't have
yeah.
to be intentionally destructive to it. Like, that was crazy. You can take all of your actual criticism and pour it onto them. Everyone as a
Yeah,
company, they need to hear it. They're a company, they can handle it.
it's true. It's
But
true.
destructive criticism, that only brings the people who are excited about it down, because they're worried about people coming after them and being negative towards them just because they're supporting something they like. It's so crazily
Yeah,
unnecessary. And
it's
it's one of those TF2 things that, and again, this is a gaming thing, but I think TF2, being as old as it is, people get very, very, very passionate about the one thing they like to do in TF2. And you can do so
mhm.
many things, but as soon as that one thing they like to do in TF2 isn't exactly replicated or hyped up, they, instead of just being like, oh, I'll keep doing my one thing, they're like, no, I hate that other thing.
Die.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that drives me crazy. That drives me insane.
Yeah.
But okay,
I
so
feel
yeah, that
uh
not the point, not the point.
yeah, yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I feel like people just should know that, yeah, Faceit knows exactly what went wrong and all that. Like, they came into TF2 with CS:GO lookout, like with a CS:GO mindset, with
For sure, for
CS:GO
sure.
employees. And now they've hired me and Sigafu on to kind of work on a new project, which if we do it right, it's gonna be way better. It's gonna be good, and hopefully it's gonna satisfy everybody.
Well, I can even
Um,
attest too. Like, when I was part of the
oh yeah.
first group of people who came in for that, like you said, they probably didn't have. They were probably a little doomed to fail from the beginning, in that the product they brought was probably not what everyone
Mhm,
wanted.
mhm,
But
exactly.
I can say, from the people who I worked with and who I spoke to on that initial project, they were amazing. Like, the Faceit people were nothing but awesome people who really just wanted to kind of create something cool. And
I
that one didn't work out, but I'm pretty confident they're still doing stuff.
I went to the HQ actually, to England. So nice. I actually got to talk to the guy that hit up all of us in the beginning, right when we were just like in the first Faceit thingy. And he was just there, and they were just kind of chilling. It's very very cool place, very cool guys. And they do want to, like, they are trying their best, and hopefully we can do something really good. And also, for everybody wondering, no, I'm not like a person who's like designing the product and like getting everything, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, don't
details,
DM
like
Shork
all the
asking
game
for
stuff.
like face it
Yeah.
matchmaking
Okay.
details.
Okay. What I do is I'm a kind of a community manager ish, but also mostly just social media manager, as well as I do sit and talk about the product. But I just like give my ideas once in a while, and then we like figure out all like the stuff together, etc. I don't have big influence, mostly because I don't want to have big influence, because I'm not very gameplay. But it's fun. The people are really
Yeah.
nice,
No, I
and
mean,
all
the
that.
way I view your position as someone kind of on the outside looking in is that you are just kind of their finger to the pulse. You're that person who is in the TF2 scene, who does a lot of, obviously your animation and stuff like that is fantastic, and you do a great job at keeping, the Face It program relevant, to like TF2 fans while they keep working on stuff in the background. But you're just, you're there to just, be a positive influence and kind of keep people engaged. And then, the
Yeah,
products that come from that, they'll be what they are. And then hopefully criticism come from that and they can build into something better. But I mean, I've
yeah.
definitely seen comments on, like, you'll post a meme to the Faceit page, and like I'll read a comment or two, and they're like, "Hey, how's that matchmaking going?" And it's like, dude, he doesn't know. He's just, why can't he just why can't you enjoy his funny meme
It's
thing?
true.
Why are you angry?
Okay, so the meme thing has actually worked quite a bit, which I'm very happy, because I think a lot of people, because of how long, well, time has passed and etc. Like, people would go from just hating, like, okay, that's the thing I didn't like about the first outcome, because of all that rage. Face it turned into one of those buzzwords where people like, every time they heard it, they'll just be like, "Oh my god, not face it." But then it's like, I just wanted to kind of create content for them, and get people to know that we are some people now that actually enjoy TF2 and just want to make stuff for the community and just be there, and we're not like this out of touch company.
No,
Like
and I
we're
think
actually working on
I could totally see someone being like, oh well, they just hired someone who's in touch, and it's like, yeah, that's what they did. That you work for them. You're Faceit, and you're in touch with the community. That's called Faceit being in touch with the community. That's not some band aid. That's actually a good vessel that they didn't have to
yeah.
hire someone like you. They could have hired someone who was. I mean, I nothing against them, but I remember their initial Faceit TF2 social media account, whoever it was who ran it, they were
Oh yeah, I
very
know.
cookie cutter. Just like, here are some updates about these things. I'll comment on some TF2 people's things
Mm-hmm.
saying nice job. They didn't know anything about TF2. I think that was fairly or at least they didn't know much. That was fairly obvious. They didn't have to go out and hire someone like you who genuinely knows all these people and genuinely makes funny quality content, but they did. And that is when I saw that, and when I saw that they got Sigafu on board, who has just years and years and years of competitive and gameplay experience. I'm like, oh, that's a big step. And I almost
Like
feel like they had to fail first. So that first push they did, where it was just kind of looked like they just brought a bunch of content creators in to kind of hype it up a little bit, which none of us were pressured to do so. Again, like people look back at, they sent us those bags with the shirts in it and stuff. Like there's no monetary value there. I wasn't pressured to say good things about Faceit because they gave me a shirt and a towel. There's nothing there. Nothing there.
yeah.
That was awesome. I was super excited to get it, and I was super excited about the project. But
Like also people don't know that most videos and stuff on that subject was made before Faceit even like said anything about sending this stuff out.
and
Like
everyone who
for
sent
real.
it out, like I also need to put that no one was told hype up about this stuff. It was literally just like, hey, thanks for working on this thing. We're going to send you a care package. And we're like, oh, cool. And then we all got our care package with little names on it. I still have I got my little Faceit towel over here. I got my Faceit jersey. It's sick. Like, why wouldn't I talk about that? So,
Okay, so here's the funny about about mine is like yeah, I got it too because back then I was creative not for them, but I was one of the content creators they wanted to affiliate with, so I got a shirt too, and it's like literally like I'm not like I use it as my workout clothes now, and I don't like it because it says my name and all that, so I'm trying to find some new stuff, but it's like it's good quality. I like it.
yeah, well, I got like we all got the same, like we got like the two pairs of the shorts and the two shirts,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
when they asked me, when they told us what we were gonna get, and they're like, oh, like we're gonna put your like logo on it and stuff. So like everyone got their logo kind of emblazoned on the bag or the shirt, and I'm like, I remember they asked me that, and I'm like, they're like, hey, send us your logo now because we're gonna get. I'm like, oh shit, I don't have a logo, like I don't have anything. So I messaged a couple of people I knew. I'm like, hey, can anyone just take my name in like Arial font and put it on like a white neutral
oh my
background?
god.
And then they're like, yep. And someone just sent me that, and I sent that over to them. So all my stuff is literally just my logo is the word Jaybird in all lower cases in like Arial narrow. That's my
I'm a-
logo, and that's on the shirt, and it's just like. But yeah, my girlfriend wears it all the time. She steals all my clothes, so of course she wears it. But it's like
yeah.
it was just a fun man. When I heard that some people, we all know the people who complained about the people who got that, but like when that was first brought to my attention, I'm like, dude, you understand? If I wanted to this, no one would buy this stuff from me. It's a duffel bag with shirts and a water bottle. It was just a nice goodwill gesture, and that's all it
Yeah,
ever was.
literally.
But yeah,
Uh,
like I was saying, I think Faceit kind of needed to fail in that first foray. They were because the community was already chopping at the bit, wanting them to fail. They needed to kind of fail gracefully, and I think that first project, in my opinion, failed gracefully. It didn't blow up in their face or anything. It just kind of faded out of popularity and blah blah blah. And like you said, they've learned from it a little bit, and they're working on stuff in the background. And I think whenever that next step comes, I think people who want to be interested it will be, and the people who don't care, I think, will have a little bit. They'll be able to say, well, it already failed, whatever. They won't be as involved, I don't think, this time, and I think that's for the best.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just excited for what it brings, and I don't know. I'm just happy about it because of course, if it does do well, I'll get to do more at my job and stuff, and that'll be great. And also, it just helps me be way more interested as well, and just doing like TF2 stuff all the time. Like it's just inspired me so much, just being in touch with everything.
Yeah, and like, hey, you know what? And I will say this as well too about it. As much as their first jump into it obviously didn't become an immediate success, it got a lot of people really excited. I was genuinely excited because bots were as bad then as they are now. They're probably they haven't gotten any better or worse. And like it was just something. It was just nice to see that injection of care into TF2, and we hadn't seen that in a while. So it was like, again, it didn't need to be perfect, and I couldn't understand why people wanted it to fail, because at best it was literally a second chance for TF2, and at worst it was trying something like that. That's all it was. And so I was so excited when it came out, and I'm still excited for stuff to come out. And I know I did a little bit of the there was that kind of the Prolander stuff they had going on. I tried out the beta for that, and that was really fun. And anything that comes next, obviously, it's just, I think it can only help the TF2 community to have people actively wanting to be involved with it.
And this time it's going to be very much a community and not as much as just about Faceit and playing TF2. Like, trust me when I say that. I'm excited.
And I think there's that unharnessed part of TF2 that I think hopefully that they're tapping into now, which when I was asked about it and stuff, I think I voiced was that people are passionate about TF2, and if you don't need to get them playing your version of it. If you can just have your servers running something people want and just kind of have your name in goodwill with the TF2 community, that in and of itself is a moneymaker. It just creates buzz and hype, because TF2 people will talk endlessly about the stuff in TF2 they like. So if you can just make something fun, people will find it and they will promote it to no end. So that's all that needs to happen. And I think there's a good path for that.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, that was like an hour of chatting. Whoa. That was pretty great. That went by pretty fast. Do you have any final thoughts here from the inaugural Two Birds One Home episode?
Well, guys, make sure not to fall out the nest. Learn how to fly, all that, and subscribe to Jaybird.
Well, okay, I'll go subscribe to Shork as well, doing amazing things. Actually actively uploads, unlike myself. Hopefully be fixing that at some point. Okay, well, send me all your links and send me all your social links whenever you get, and I'll put them in the video, obviously. Sure. So we'll have that up there. But yeah, I mean, go check out Shork. The dude's just been pumping out amazing quality content, and he is, I mean, you heard it here first. He's the nicest dude in the world. So, I mean, on behalf of the TF2 community, I mean, we're lucky to have you. It's been so great to see you grow so much of late. I think if anyone was going to blow up, you'd have been on my top of my list for people I wanted to see get bigger and have all these hosting and editing and animating opportunities. So happy to have you here, and I'm honored that you were the first guest.
Really happy about that, and thank you. I'm honored to be here. Yeah, I've always wanted to make something with you, and we finally did it.
We did it.
Now we just have to figure out an outro, but I don't know how to do that.
I don't have it.
I'm losing my balance. I'm falling out the nest.